this is the first of our US UK specials.
Special because it means we essentially watch one episode with just different accents.
It's because all our listeners, all 12 of them, 12's ambitious, all 12 of them are going to be saying, oh, thank fuck for that, it's a short one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, we can drag it out if you want.
Yeah, no, that's fine. To be fair, it might not be. We'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, we've never done this really. Technically, we will be discussing 2 episodes, I suppose. But they're going to be very similar.
Yeah, it's weird because
like it's weird how similar.
Yeah, like they're like scene for scene in this one.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I didn't find it jarring that it like the US one was obviously made much later, and like it wasn't like it still worked, which it doesn't always.
Yeah,
with
that's very true.
US remakes. But that's the thing, I watched it. Oh yeah, Shameless. We're doing Shameless.
I mean, if the episode title doesn't give it away, then you know.
Then we're not naming them well enough. I think this is just called UK versus US Shameless.
Yeah. We also have what I believe is known as a Hobbesian problem. I'm just going to have to Google that. Hoobs I've put. Which was a show on Channel 4, early morning TV. The Hoobs, they were the like budget Muppets. Do you remember them?
No.
Okay, cool.
Because when I was a kid, we didn't have TV.
Hobbes' problem, which I think is you can only evaluate your experience of life on Earth through your own eyes. So you will never be able to. We will never be able to experience life growing up in Korea or growing up as a black female Irish Catholic. I just went as far away from what I am as possible, as different. So what I mean by that is that I feel like we're going to feel huge bias to the UK stuff, which generally, because it's, particularly with this and The Office and such, they're US shows based from a UK previous show. And I know, obviously, you watched the UK one first, and this morning I watched the UK one first before I went straight onto the US one.
Yeah. It's weird because, I rewatched the pilots in that order. But the strange thing is I've watched every episode that exists of both of these shows.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus, I didn't realise you'd done that.
Yeah, like what I was doing on Tuesday was I was Tuesday, like because we were meant to record on Tuesday. But
oh yeah, it finally happened.
Yeah, no, so ready to record Shameless? Like fucking what? No. Like
no, good. I watched with Sam Mendes.
Overwatch.
We could have tried, just like jamming them together. I don't think it would have worked.
But no, because it's strange. Because before we were meant to record that, I'd been watching the most recent episode, the American one. Because as much as like they're very similar to start with, the stories diverge somewhat.
Yeah. I guess they sort of have to, isn't it? Because where the UK Shameless, it's so... It's centred on, it's centred on working class families, and there's no sort of class division with America, not really. I mean,
they still just use good old fashioned racism.
Hey, I don't know where I was going with that. I've completely been thrown off track. Anyway, continue.
So you're introduced to, well, both of them start with a monologue from Frank, I'd say father, just.
Well, yeah, the father in absentia, I suppose. He's absent a lot of the time.
Yeah,
or if he's there, he's passed out.
Yeah, the thing that I found great is that you don't... Like, he's essentially, like, the main character of the show. Because it's all kind of, like, his views on, like, whatever are, like, the forefront of the show. He's very much like Ewan McGregor in Trainspotting with his, like... the big like life speech that he has.
Yeah, I did enjoy that, but then I found it because obviously you've seen more of it. I've only seen the pilots. I did not get from this show that it's about him. He very much appears like, although he gives that opening speech, and then there's another opening speech from I think it's the daughter, isn't it? Fiona. Is that
Yeah.
right? So then I was like, okay, well, I thought, okay, it's going to be all about this Frank character, and then he's not in it again till quite near the end.
Yeah, it's weird because having seen like the whole show, it is very much sort of about. Well, it's about
Him.
the whole family, but really, you follow Frank a lot.
Okay, I guess
But
maybe.
I think what was good is they introduced the family and then showed their relationship to Frank.
Yeah.
Very much in that sort of like, he's a bit of like a absentee father, sort of is there and claims a lot of like
Benefit.
tries to claim things that he's done that he hasn't done. Like he's just like, I'm a single parent. It's like, barely. Like you just live there, really.
Yeah. And his whole point of, if I had tits, the fact that his Fiona is preempting everything he says, like, okay, she's heard this 100 times before, and he's never going to change or anything like that. I think I loved every single character in the family. Every single family member is, apart from like the little kids, right? But you get a lot in its hour runtime. It fits in a lot of character setup and also development. Like everyone starts from one point and ends somewhere else.
Yeah, I think my favourite from the pilot is Lip and Ian.
Yeah,
So I think that sets up
I
their
do
characters perfectly.
Yeah, yeah, they're fantastic.
And that's the thing, like it's like just a great group of. They're just a great bunch of characters because they're all different, but they all have like this shared upbringing.
Yeah.
And then it also almost fills in like some light backstory, although there's not really a huge amount needed because it's just like they're a family, like they live in either Southside Chicago or the Chatsworth estate in Manchester. Like when I moved to Manchester, I expected it to just be like that, but as it turns out, it's not.
Oh, is it Chicago? I thought it was New York.
No, it's Chicago.
I got that bit wrong. Didn't I? Oh, not to worry. Very pleased to see Steve Pemberton show up very briefly because big fan of the League of Gentlemen and stuff. So when he shows up as the parent of Sheila, isn't it, the agoraphobic mother? But he ends up leaving her, doesn't he? Because of the incident with Lip and Ian.
Yeah.
Helps her out with is it physics homework?
Yep, physics homework.
Yeah, he's tuning her, and then while he's tuning her, she crawls under the table and starts sucking him off. In front of her mum, and her mum doesn't notice. I'm like, what? This is terrifying. No, I enjoyed that. The sequence between it, and then when he takes his brother, who's like, right, come on, see if you like it.
Yeah.
And they get caught by her dad. It was fucking great, that scene when the fucking thing comes through the window when he chucks it. She chucks it through the window.
Yeah, I think that's one of the only real scenes where you see a difference in the UK and US one. Because in the UK one, he's obsessed with owls, and in the US one, he's obsessed with clowns.
Yeah. The clowns. It's a lot more sinister. Being obsessed with clowns is a lot more sinister than loving owls.
Yeah. No, but what I like in like both of the like opening, like after Lip comes back from the first blowy from fucking Karen, yeah,
it's Karen.
What's weird is they like the Karen character has different arcs in both the shows, because in the UK one she's still around at the end, but she just kind of disappears in the American one after like a couple seasons. Yeah, but I think like Lip finding Ian's porn is,
well, crucially the gay porn.
Yeah, it's very like similar in both of them.
Yeah.
And the attitude that Lip has in both of them is very similar, but I kind of expected the reaction to be a lot more like in the American one. And I don't know why.
Well, I guess. I mean, I was quite pleased with it. His reaction at first, he's surprised, but then very quickly
and then he's more annoyed that Ian didn't tell him. Like
Yeah.
that's all that he's annoyed about, and I'm like,
And I think he's more annoyed that when he finds out that he's been fooling about with Cash, the shop owner. I think he's just he's annoyed because he says you're fucking him. It's like it's
Yeah.
not that you're fucking a bloke. I don't care about that. It's just him. He's rubbish.
yeah.
But
I think
he
it's a
gives
lot
out
more...
the Daily Mail headline. I fucking loved that. What was it? It was a fake Muslim caught with white gay teen sex scandal or something.
Yeah, like with
That's
like
brilliant.
converted fundamentalist wife.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, did you find the first when you watched in the UK one that Ian and Cash was a bit more of a surprise?
Not really. No, well, I don't know because as soon as that scene started, I knew what was happening, but I
Yeah.
guess I didn't see it.
It's a lot more obvious. I think it's more obvious in the American one
Yeah,
because in the UK one it cuts to the shoes being on the wrong feet, but in the American one they're there.
they're just wearing.
They're
them.
just
Yeah.
it's from the first shot you see they're wearing them, and I was like, oh, little subtle differences, but not.
Yeah.
Still the same premise.
Yeah, totally. I think the casting of William H Macy as Frank's always good. I think he's brilliant in everything he does. Like, we've talked about him before on this. I'm sure. It's probably because Fargo, wasn't it? He's in the movie of Fargo, and we did.
And he was
the
in
TV show.
I think he was in an the pilot episode of something. Fuck it. What was it? One of the cop things, I think.
Yeah, it's ringing a bell.
Law
It wasn't.
and Order?
Wasn't Frequency, was it? Was he in the?
No,
film
he wasn't in
as well?
Frequency. He might have been in the film. I don't know, but yeah,
Law and
he's-
Order. Law and
he's-
Order. Yes, that's it.
Yeah,
Law and
he's
Order.
been in a thing we watched before,
Yeah.
and we mentioned it, and because I know him from. I think the first things I saw him in were Wild Hogs, because he was in that.
Oh my
and,
god. Yeah.
Then I started watching Shameless. Like I always start watching these American ones because I'm curious, and then
Yeah.
I just watch them. Like
Well,
this one is really good. It's a really
it's one of the better adaptations that I've seen. Definitely.
Yeah.
Saying that, I'm going to get into my main point of this, right? So, what I think UK shows, particularly with comedies, do is we do losers really well. If you think about even talk about as Basil Fawlty, he's a loser. David Brent, he's a loser. The in-betweeners, they're all losers. With this, they're all losers. I don't think that transfers into American comedy very well. I don't think
we do
there are many.
hopelessness a lot better.
It's almost there's a nasty, there's a bit of edge to there's a bit of nihilism to the situation. Like it's it just seems a bit grimier. It seems a bit grottier. The sequences in the UK.
Well, yeah, I think the UK one I think overall has a lot less hope. Essentially, all of them in the UK show are trying to escape, and none of them are just like they kind of embrace their life a bit, but are more like we just have to escape.
I don't think it's necessarily there's it's a lack of hope. It's more there's an acceptance, but there's finding happiness within that, and I think that is lost when it's transferred across the pond. It's like all the rough edges that I feel the first one has. There's sort of just this sheen that's put on them. Like the thing that occurred to me is that the fact that all the actors in the American one, they're all beautiful people.
Yeah.
And in the UK one, it's just like, Frank's a bit shoddier and everyone just looks a bit rough, a bit more ordinary. And it looks very much like the US one. They've cast actors. I never once believed that there was quite a few lines where I was like, I don't believe that it's you saying that. And obviously that might be because I've seen someone else say it before.
Some of the most jarring ones from the American one are Ian.
Yeah.
I think in the early he comes into his own eventually.
Yeah.
But I think, some of when they're talking in the van at the end, his laugh, I was just like, no.
Yeah.
And then he goes on. He's the Joker in Gotham as well.
Is he?
Yeah, same actor.
Oh my god. No, I totally get what you're saying. Like when they were sharing that joke, I was like, that wasn't funny because it was funny in the UK one because it made sense, but here it's not funny you saying it, and they laugh for a good couple of seconds. I'm like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, it's weird because some of the jokes from the UK one, some of them translate really well. Like, and the main themes translate quite well as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think
some of the localized stuff, you
yeah,
might say.
like especially like the headline when you say it in a British accent, this is dripping with sarcasm and like
And
it's
but
just sort of
equally,
like
you could read that in any Daily Mail.
yeah,
You
and
would
then you
read
flip
something
it to
like
the US and you're like, no, that just sounds like angry and like you actually believe that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
like
I think
it's,
yeah, American humor isn't as nuanced as I think the UK humor.
well, I think it is new. I think it's just different. It's just I'm really struggling to put it across, but I think you nailed it. Like when you're saying the hope isn't there, the idea that okay, things we're pretty shit, but things are definitely going to get better. That's not there in the UK one, and it's all the better for it.
Yeah, I think with the UK one, I think they do play on the whole like, fuck it, this is our life, we just have to deal with it. But I think when you make a US TV show, I think you have to not have like a happy ending, but you have to act as though your characters are going to get there at some point.
Yeah, like perhaps I'm trying to the Italian Job, even as far back as that. In the UK, the original British film, they don't get away with the gold.
Yeah.
And now I'm saying this, I can't remember if in the remake they get away with it either. But but do you know what I mean? Like there's quite a few.
I think
like
my best example of that is the ending of Paranormal Activity. The UK and US had different endings.
Yeah.
The US ending, police bust in, she gets killed, demon happily ever after, demon gone. But in the UK version, well, I think the more worldwide release, she just leaves and is just out there.
There was a whole bunch of endings for that film actually, because there's
Yeah.
the one where she throws him at the camera, and then she stands in front of the camera.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the one where she leaves. That's the UK one.
There's one where she does the same, throws him at the camera, stands in front, and then slits her own throat. There's one where she kills him, and then the police come in and arrest her. And then I think there's another one, but
see, I think more so with American shows, they have. I'm trying to say it without it being like reducing, because like the show is still fucking awesome in America, but I think there's just that more of a want for happiness and resolution. Yeah. Whereas the UK one, you can kind of just go, fuck it, that's how this ends.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously there's exceptions to this, but we're talking in very general terms about.
Yeah, I'm thinking specifically for Shameless.
Yeah.
I think the UK one just kind of lets characters kind of just leave without any sort of like. There's very minimal explanation, but in the US one there has to be like it cuts back to them and you see like, oh, this character's dead now, or this character's like done good and made it.
Yeah.
But I think the UK people are very much more in that sort of I guess like because people just leave. It's more of a window into someone's life where some people just suddenly aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
Because like that happens in real life. You just sort of go, someone just like drops off the face of the earth, and you're like,
yeah, and you just never hear from them again.
But I think in the US version they spend a lot of time making sure that
everything's
big characters have like a neat little bow ending.
Yeah.
Which I think is the main difference for me between the shows is that. Whereas, I mean, the main difference is also that some of the characters stick around a lot longer in the US version. Because I think Fiona leaves at the end of season 2 in the UK version.
Yeah.
But the US version is just finishing season 9 and she's just about to leave, and it's like, you've changed the story. But then,
yeah, I mean, I think I definitely, and I'm like I said, I think we're probably biased to this because we're obviously having grown up in Britain. I was more willing to. As soon as I finished the pilot of the UK one, I was like, I would quite happily pop on the next episode and just sit here all morning, just hanging out with this family. The US one, I don't know. There's just a disconnect when it's the same lines that work so well in a British show, and then they are said word for word. The same lines are said again by someone who I don't believe as that character. I'm thinking specifically Steve was the most jarring one. I think.
Yeah, because how are you going to follow James McAvoy though?
Well, there is that is a hell of a thing, but yeah, I did really enjoy it, and I appreciated the US one. Like, it wasn't a fucking hell, why have they done this? You know,
Yeah.
Like, apparently the US UK in betweeners is a bit like that, but hey, we're doing that, aren't we?
Yep, it's on the
That's
list.
yeah,
I think we're doing 4 of them.
that does ring a bell. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
I think we're doing Skins,
The Office,
The Office, and The In-Betweeners.
In-Betweeners, yeah. Apparently, there is. I'm sure I've mentioned this on the show before. There is a pilot floating about somewhere for
Spaced, wasn't it?
Spaced, yeah, which is directed by McG, who's made some terrible films in his. He did Terminator Salvation. I think he did a Charlie's Angels, if not both of them. But I would genuinely love to watch the US.
That's the thing.
remake
Like,
of Space,
I
'cause
think
it would
we
be
talked about it,
awful.
and then we tried to find it, and we couldn't.
Yeah, that was it. Did we even mention it at the start of this series? Because we mentioned Space, didn't we?
Yeah, no, I think we talked. We
did
must
it
have talked
episode
about
one.
it. Yeah.
Episode 1 of this series. I'm sure we talked about it. That's how good we are remembering our own podcast episodes. But yeah, we probably mentioned that.
Yeah, but
no, I loved the UK Shameless, and I probably will go back to watching that at some point.
the US Shameless, I think it's weird because the first few episodes are very like, oh, the UK one did this scene, so we'll do this. But then once it starts, like, the characters start coming into their own and becoming unique to the British counterparts, it really sort of like kicks. Also, I found it's a lot easier to rewatch the American Shameless because it's on Netflix, whereas the UK one is all 4, and it's
all 4. That's it.
I fucking hate it. I hate, like, 4OD is my least favourite catch-up service.
It's a shame because they have some brilliant stuff on there.
Oh, yeah, no, it's incredible. It's really good. It's really good for watching pilot episodes because you just sort of click and then you don't have to worry about it auto-playing into the next one because it doesn't have autoplay.
That's a real backhanded compliment, that.
I know, because really what I wish is that it had autoplay so that I could watch. Because I've wanted to rewatch the UK Shameless for so long, but 4OD makes it impossible. Like, it doesn't make it impossible, it just makes it more work.
It means you have to click on one more thing. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and then I have to sit and watch adverts, and it's like, oh, okay. Great.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's how they make their money, I suppose, isn't it? But yeah, I'm
Well, they could get Netflix to pay them for it, and then I could watch it on Netflix.
Yeah.
But okay,
I
so if
did
you
like
had to
this.
pick a favourite character from the UK version and the US
Shit.
version, go.
Ooh, okay. My favourite from. Well, actually, it was quite a nice surprise when I saw the US version of Sheila show up, and it's Mrs. Mullins from School of Rock. I was like, oh shit, that's wicked. Seeing her again was quite nice. She wasn't necessarily my favourite. I do like Fiona from the US, like, but even then I'm still thinking, no, there's a disconnect. I don't believe her. I think it will be between Lip and Ian for the US one, and for the UK one, I do really like Fiona in the UK. Yeah, I think I'll go with. It's interesting. I've not picked Frank for either of them because obviously I don't in the pilot.
Because
Because
he's not really there in the pilots.
Yeah. I'll tell you who I like. Yep, sorry. It's the neighbour, the US neighbour.
Oh, Kev.
Shit, what's her name?
Oh no, Veronica.
Yes.
See, that's the thing, because my favourite US character is Kev. I don't know why. Like,
she was in Left 4 Dead 2. Like, she had her face modelled for Left 4 Dead 2. For, I can't remember the character name for Left 4 Dead 2. I haven't played that in ages.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, his character, like, the Kev character is great in both of them.
Yeah.
But, like, the thing, because I'm not basing this on the pilot, I'm basing it on
What
everything
comes
that
later.
I've seen. But I think of the Gallaghers, Lip in both is my favourite.
Yeah.
Because in the UK one, he's just a dickhead. But he has like, not, don't want to say more interesting stories, but his stories link a lot more. Like they link stories together,
Yeah.
essentially. But in the US version, he has just like, he's almost like, between him and Fiona, they're like the main two characters. But the trouble is, it's hard to pick a favourite Gallagher because they're all great. Debbie's great in the UK one as well. I don't so much like her story in the US one, but there's a great story in both of them about Debbie just stealing a kid. They're both like season 1 as well. It's like, it's not like a sort of teenage Debbie. It's like this sort of 11, 12-year-old just going like, I want a kid. And just going and finding one.
As you do. The other thing that I did really like about the UK one is that it ended with a next time. And you got a little sneak preview of episode 2. And that really helped, like, do you know what I mean? When they say, oh, we found a body that is, Frank's missing, we found a body that matches his description. I'm like, well, clearly it's not him, but...
That story is great in both of them. I always forget that it's a second episode.
Yeah, I might have to go back and watch that then.
Yeah, no, honestly, like, both of them are really good, but definitely the UK one is... Oh.
Yeah. For
like,
us,
the US is a good version of the story.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, as I say, once it comes into its own, I'd say they're on par. Like, they're both about the same level. The US one is just different.
Yeah. Well, I think we're probably going to end up saying that a lot when we're doing these.
Do you know, I have a feeling we might not always say that. We might just go, yeah, the US one is shite.
Oh, the other one we're doing is Being Human. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because when I originally first watched the US Shameless, I expected to hate it because I was watching Shameless when it was airing in the UK.
Yeah.
So like that's like 2004 or something, and like, I was watching it like weekly, and I loved that show, and I was kind of sad but also kind of happy when it just sort of went like, this is the end, because it didn't go on too long, but I'm worried that the US one might do that.
Well, it's still going, isn't it? So,
yeah, they're on season 9. UK did 10, but I think they have shorter seasons.
Yeah,
actually, the US one isn't that long either.
There's 6 episodes in the first one. You've been saying to me that I need to watch this for ages, though, and turns out you were right.
See, that's like, you don't trust me. Which is why we do this podcast, so I can make you watch it. That's really all it is.
That's 11 series for UK.
Yeah, I think they're shorter runs. I think episode-wise, I think they're about the same. Because the US does 10 or 13. Season 1 has 10, and then it's 13 from then on. So I think just sheer numbers-wise, I think they're about the same.
No, fair enough.
But I don't think the US one's going to finish anytime soon. But yeah, no, I don't really recommend both of them. But I've watched all of them, so I'm a bit sort of...
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's interesting that, like... I think it's interesting when the US remakes something well. And I'm interested to see throughout the year what happens when they fuck it up.
Have you got something specific in mind?
Well, I'm just thinking Skins is probably fucked up.
Do you know what? I never watched Skins.
Neither did I, but I'm just assuming that because I know the story topic is mostly drugs, and I think it was made at a time when you wouldn't have got like even like a Shameless in the US where they're just openly like taking drugs. Like I think in the US version there were just whole storylines about meth. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no. At some point, yeah, there's a big thing about meth, which is fun.
It starts showing up and it's blue, and there's this bald guy that's been cooking it in a caravan.
Yeah, but the UK one doesn't. Yeah, the UK one has drugs, but it's just like the normal recreational drugs you'd expect. Like, there's just weed floating about. There's like coke and ecstasy, but that's really about it for the UK one. But in the US one, it's just fucking anything you can think of. And then they have like the big pharma drugs, like
Oxy and that.
Yeah, but what's interesting is when, because the UK one doesn't really spend a lot of time with like people going to hospital that much. One, because Veronica's there to just be like, nah, no hospitals, but also because it's not a big story point in the UK, because it's like you go to hospital, they fix you, you come home. But in the American one, it becomes like there are 2-3 episodes where one character's in hospital and they're just like, how the fuck are we going to afford this?
Yeah, that's
so that it becomes a much more interesting plot point. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I guess you get a bit more. There's more to comment on about American society.
Because in the UK, it's just like it's just like, oh, we had to wait for a while. And it's like, yeah, cool.
It's like, we had to wait, and then we had to pay thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Like that's. Is it because you also get to? I think what's quite nice is like a weird, because you can touch base because you already know the characters from the UK version. You then get to see, it's almost like seeing what their lives would be like in a parallel universe if they were in the US.
Yeah.
So it's weird because you almost get that sort of like, oh yeah, no, I understand these characters, but then their lives are so different, so it's more like watching it. Whereas in the UK, when you can kind of go, I know a guy like that. But no, it's interesting to see how two similar situations can be so different in different countries.
Yeah. But yeah, Shameless has done the Office thing as well. It's been sold to a whole bunch of other countries. I was just looking at the Wikipedia page, and it's been sold to, I think, Russia, and I've since got rid of the page. I'm going to have a quick look to get it back now. Yeah, it's been sold to America, Turkey, Pakistan, and Russia as well.
Are they all remaking it, or are they just distributing it out there?
No, yeah, Turkish adaptations.
Oh shit!
Hang on.
Time to go find Russian Shameless.
The Pakistani version is the same as the Turkish one. It's just going to be broadcast in Urdu. And then the Russian one is a Russian adaptation. So yeah, there's a couple of other.
No, we need to find these. I think just for myself.
Yeah.
Just do like. Yeah, season 6 of the Co-Pilots podcast. No, season 5. Yeah, no, season 6 because I've planned half of season 5 already. I ain't changing that.
Messaged me this like yesterday saying, "Oh yeah, I've done all this by the way."
Oh, I watched like a trailer for a TV show and went, "Oh, that'd be pretty cool," and then planned like half a season. I was like, "Wait, how did this happen?"
Oh shit, this is good. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, no, I recommend Shameless. It's great.
It's rather
watch
good.
Whichever version you want, but. Go if you're in the UK, watch the UK one. If you're in the US, I don't know if you can
watch
have
the
it.
UK one.
Yeah, if you're thinking about moving to Manchester, watch the UK version.
Coming up next from us, what is coming up next? It is looking at the combined schedule that you've put together.
Yes, the next thing you'll hear from us is talking about Mr. Sam Mendes.
Is
Mr.?
it? You sure?
Yeah, co-directors. Next from the UK versus US Shameless is
this one out already?
When this one goes live, yes.
I get so confused with with this. You do this bit.
Right, so next is co-directors next week we're talking about Sam Mendes, which is American Beauty, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next co-pilots in 2 weeks is Doctor Replacement, which I should write the team
and The Replacement.
Yep, it's those shows. I need to add them to this list because as much as like I love making the names for these shows,
sometimes it's not
sometimes they're not helpful.
Yeah, like Some In-Betweener.
Well, that's Some Girls and the In-Betweeners.
What's the other one we had? We nearly entitled one that was just called The.
I can't remember what that was. I think it's because the other words just weren't that interesting.
Yeah, proud.
Yeah, so that'll
yeah.
be co-directors next week. 2 weeks from that is the next co-pilots.
Marvel bloody mouse. I look forward to it enormously.
Oh yeah, I mean for us it's like 3 days away.
Yeah.
But no, it's been good.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for getting this far. So maybe we should keep score of like who wins the US UK one. Well, maybe not, because I think we probably always should go to UK, won't we? That'd be pointless.
Yeah, and also in this one there's not a winner; it's a draw. Rematch coming soon.
Featuring Turkey and Russia. Right.
That's a fucking idea.
Let's stop talking now.